Can we make a 10-minute video about this car? Welcome to Petrol Lounge. Presenting the 2017 Maserati Levante. Really, this is a Ferrari from Wish. For me, it starts with this door handle. I grab the door handle and immediately I can feel the Chrysler in this product. It feels very plasticky. It feels very weak when I pull on it. It's got a lot of give and play to it. This is a vehicle that base price new was $80,000. And I just expect a little bit better than what I would call Chrysler quality door handles. Looking inside, looking at the start button here on the car, again, lifted right out of a Chrysler product. The switchgear here for the windows and the rearview mirror and everything comes out of a Chrysler automobile. The infotainment system is, again, a Chrysler product. There's a strange combination of really high-end luxury and, again, this kind of like, you know, Ferrari from Wish type thing. The leather is, you know, I don't think it's the best quality leather that I've ever seen or sat in, but it's really good quality leather and the materials are really good. And there's some unusual touches here. The red is very strange. There's this denim material on the door cards and here in the seats in the center section. And it's all kind of capped off with this wood grain as well. But then, you know, I'm looking over here and this is just pure hard plastic. I mean, it's the kind of thing that I would expect to find in a Jeep. It's just absolutely terrible. The more you start playing with the switchgear in this car and the more you start playing with stuff, the more you're like, wait a minute, this feels more like a Chrysler product and less like a Ferrari product. I go to open this and it's just really flimsy. It feels like it's about to break. It's really thin plastic. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't have good weight to it. And it just doesn't have a smooth mechanism. And in this price range, those are the kind of things that you would expect. Now, if I'm in a Chrysler 200, yeah, this is fine. This is the type of stuff you're not going to see in a Mercedes-Benz. You're not going to see in a Porsche. And you shouldn't see it here, but you do. And then this piece here has already started to break. And it does still work, but it's clunky. It doesn't sit right. I can't always open it. And again, it's just, like I said, it's a little wonky. And it's the same with all the switchgear here, everything that I'm touching, everything that I do. I'm just reminded this is really more of a Chrysler product than it is a premium brand product that you would expect. I've got a 2017 Cayenne right behind me. Same year, same kind of mileage, same kind of use, and these things don't happen in that car. This has a pretty standard automatic transmission in it. It's a little bit lackluster. It doesn't have a whole lot of sporting ambitions. It's a little slow to shift. When you get on the throttle, it's a little bit slow to respond. You don't get the power right away. Plus, this is a twin turbo V6 engine, and it just doesn't build power that way. Now, if you had a proper manual in here and you could really spin up the turbos ahead of time, I think this car would be a lot more engaging. And I'm thinking again of the Porsche Cayenne, and the Porsche Cayenne of the same generation, same price point, you have a proper PDK transmission. You have a dual clutch. The power is immediate. It's a V8. It's got 60 more horsepower, and it's normally aspirated. So the power comes on a lot smoother, a lot sooner. You've got a lot more torque down low, and that's what really makes a car feel speedy and fast. Why are you spending the extra money here? You've got a full panoramic sunroof up here, and it's got a nice, you know, shade on it. All of these things that you would expect in a premium brand. And then I go to get out of the car and I feel the handle up here, and it's just exceedingly cheap. It is really lightweight. I feel like, I mean, it does bend pretty easily, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to last. And there's even a seam along one side of it that really stands out. You can feel the mold marks on both ends. And this is a touch point. Why you wouldn't make that premium, I don't know. I mean, the steering wheel feels premium. The door pull feels premium. A few other oddities here. I've got this nice center console thing, and it is also kind of weird. It's this bifold thing that opens up. Kind of reminds me of a Mercedes. Some of the material's really nice. This is really nice leather, but then we have the cheap plastic again, and it's just, you know, I mean, everybody uses plastic, but there are different grades and there are different ways to use it. But I noticed when I had the car on earlier and was moving it around, you can actually air condition this glove box down here. And if you had a cold drink down here and you wanted to keep it cold, you actually can. I wish they had done more stuff like this with this car, but you know, everything's built to a price point, and I guess they spent the money elsewhere. Maserati and Ferrari are both owned by the same company, and this engine is actually built by Ferrari. It is a Ferrari engine. Now, it is a Ferrari engine that Ferrari has used in none of their vehicles, but it is actually derived from the 488 twin turbo, which was also found in the GT4C Lusso and a few other Ferrari models, such as the Ferrari Pista and the California T. And here it's the same engine, it's the same turbos, it just has 6 cylinders instead of 8. To me, the exhaust note lands a little bit flat. It's not a bad sound, it's not a great sound, it's not a Ferrari sound. I do find in these cars that some of the engines that are offered, they do offer a V8, which is the Ferrari V8, and suddenly you can have the Ferrari sound and the Ferrari engine and that kind of performance in a much cheaper package. And to me, it starts to get a little bit more reasonable and more attractive in that regard. I don't know. I feel like I'm being so critical and so ugly on this car, and I hate to be this way about any vehicle. I am constantly counseling people to go and buy something else because there's so many better options at this price point. There's so many better things that you could buy. You know, go buy a German product, go buy a Japanese product, go buy something else. This is not what I would call a super reliable automobile. The best thing I can say about it is it's distinctive. It's got a nameplate that people who don't know better are going to go, oh my God, you bought a Maserati. Oh my God, you know, I can't believe you have this Italian exotic. You could get a lot of IKEA furniture in here too. It's great. It's perfectly usable. That being said, Porsche Cayenne's a little bigger, a little easier to use. I can't believe an $80,000 vehicle, I can sit back here and in 5 minutes point out a dozen items. And I'm like, well, that's cheap. And this car represents really well in photographs. When you see pictures of the interior, I'm sure when you watch this video, you're gonna be like, that looks like a fine interior to me. But when you sit down in it, my overwhelming emotion is just disappointment. When I get out of the car and I go to shut this door, I'm sure that's gonna sound wonderful on camera. And it's really more the front door that I notice more than the back door. But it just kind of has a tinny, hollow sound to it. A Mercedes, a BMW, a Porsche, they're going to sound solid. Like you're going to shut that door and it's going to sound like a bank vault. It has a substantial feel and impression. And this just doesn't. It feels like the door on, you know, a Ford Focus, with all of the resources that Maserati has at their disposal, all the things they could pick out of the Ferrari parts bin. This is what you build? I'm sure people love these cars. I see reviews where people say, hey, I've owned this car for 5 years and I love it. Every time I get in the car, it makes me feel special. I hate to be a downer. I hate to end this on a down note. I wish I could just tell you, oh my God, you know, this part of the car, it's amazing. It's unbelievable. You wouldn't believe how good it is. I want it to be like the other videos we've shot where I just go on and on about how awesome it is. But it just isn't. It's a Maserati. It is what it is. At the end, I come back to, did you even look at the Cayenne? Why'd you buy a Maserati? And I was even asked the question, you know, what do you want people to take away from this video? And the honest answer is, don't buy a Maserati. But hey, you know what? We got a lot of great content coming for you. Please hit like and subscribe and stay tuned for more content from us. We'll be with you next time.